And I have been having some thoughts about businesses and potentially going back into one. As you may or may not know if you watched my introduction to my entrepreneurial journey video that started off this channel, back in college, I grew social media accounts to not only make money, but I was basically just testing something out. And I ended up becoming pretty successful in it while I was in college. It was never, a substantial amount of money, but it was enough to where I could pay for everything that I was doing in college, and it probably averaged out to somewhere around $1,000 to $2,000 a month. It was never crazy over the course of the time that I did it. Some months were crazier than others, but it was never too crazy. And my thought now is, I like to be productive. My saying that I wrote on my whiteboard over here is make something happen. And my freight brokerage is a slow grind business. It's a lot of work during the weekdays and week hours of working hours for execution. And after that, I already started this channel with the intention of showing people how to grow businesses and what you can do in your hours to make some money, to make a living for yourself, to kind of create the life that you want to live. And it all started for me when I was building these social media accounts, sitting in my dorm room or sitting in my parents' house, and I was making the same, if not more money doing this than I was going into a part-time job and working 30 to 40 hours a week, which doesn't sound part-time, obviously, but that's what I was doing back in that time. And that is when I realized, like, holy cow, I can make money doing my own thing just by, finding something else to do that's not going into somebody else's places of work and having to spend all of my hours in a building. Back in this time, I was working, maybe an hour, hour and a half each day. No, it was about an hour, and then I got my programs, which took it down. So I was working probably 4 hours per day doing this, which was a part-time job, and then I bought this program which would do all the manual labor work, the tedious work for me, and it took my work down from 4 hours a day to pretty much 20 minutes. And that really proved something to me because I paid for this program. I bought it with dollars that I earned from growing these accounts and starting just using time and just thought power. And I bought this program that then just gave me all my time back so that I could use that to just focus on these groups that I was in. And all of these things are just lessons. And back then I didn't really know how to monetize what I was doing. So I was selling advertising, but I was selling it very cheap, and I wasn't selling it often. And I wasn't going out and really, looking for it. It was people coming to me because I had the audience, and I didn't really know why. So it was just the beginning stages of building businesses that I didn't understand really. And I didn't understand the back end, and I didn't understand what it could be. And when I sold some of these social media accounts, the people who were buying them turned them around to be absolute revenue generating tools for them. And I was like, holy cow, why did I never think of this? Why did I never do this? I had, I don't know if you would call them sponsorships, partnerships, affiliate programs that I made money through in terms of, when I still managed the accounts, and then I sold advertising, and then I would sell the accounts. So I had 3 different ways that I was making money. But that's what started this entrepreneurial journey in my eyes. It wasn't the landscaping businesses in high school. It wasn't, going beyond that where I started drop shipping. It was these moments that I think about where I was like, I am an entrepreneur. I want to be an entrepreneur because of these moments, because this is what showed me that it was possible. And I've been sitting here thinking about, my after work hours, because as you may or may not know, my daily schedule now is I wake up somewhere around 4 to 5 a.m. I read or work out first thing in the morning. I journal. And then I get to work on my freight brokerage from about 6:30 until 4 p.m. And then from 4 to 6, I edit the content that I record for you guys for the daily vlogs, for these little topics and tips, and for, my mind thoughts that I'm posting out. And, after that, if I've already worked out for the day, basically from 6 until 9 to 9:30, I just sit on the couch and kind of rot away watching TV, thinking about tomorrow, sending out updates. And I could be using that time, but I need to be using it for something that grows digitally, I would imagine. Something after hours where I can get things scheduled and taken care of for the next day or something, right? And I still have a few of these social media accounts that I grew back in college. I still have a couple of them. And I thought, why wouldn't I just get right back into something that I already enjoyed? It started the journey. I know how to take it, and I've already learned how to monetize it so that if I want to, or which I do, I obviously want to monetize it. I still already have the following. I have about 200,000 followers spread about like 4 or 5 accounts, the majority of it between two of them. And I could just get right back into this, focus on the two, which account for about 160 to 150,000 of them. Focus on the two, grow them, monetize them, and potentially make an additional $1,000 to $2,000 a month just off of these accounts. And then my freight brokerage, I could potentially keep all the money into it. Um, and then if social media starts to become a thing in terms of my personal social medias, all of that money could just stay right into it or go into the freight brokerage or whatever. And I'm just thinking, like, with my time and what I want to be doing, what am I doing in the time that I already have? And it just seems like putting 3 hours a night into television and just kind of like being like sitting on the couch is a waste of time. Not that it's not fun hanging out with Maddie, but I could sit on the couch, still have the television going, and then continue to grow these social media accounts, sell advertising on them, whatever, and I could make an additional revenue stream for myself in that time because even if it's after hours, I'm just getting things scheduled for the next day, and then I can get on the next day and I can handle things right before the stock market opens around 4 o'clock anyways. And it's not a waste of time. It's putting the time that I'm already wasting to work, and who knows what it could be. And I've been thinking about this because everything that I'm doing is long tailed right now. Posting out this content on social media and YouTube, I hope that it helps somebody. If it doesn't, then it's just for me to look back on as I continue my journey because I'm never stopping. But if it does turn into something where, like AdSense or whatever, because, every YouTube channel gets paid by AdSense, or if I get sponsored by something, it could turn into something, but it's all long-tailed. It's all way down the future after providing, this content to you guys and for me. And the skills that I'm building, everything seems to be long-tailed for me. The freight brokerage is long-tailed. I didn't look to get rich in my first year off of the freight brokerage. I'm not looking to make any money off of YouTube. I'm not looking to make any immediate money off of my LinkedIn. And I'm not looking to make any immediate money off of building social media accounts to sell advertising. It's all long-tailed. So if I'm just going to be spending the time anyways, I might as well spend the time into something that could be valuable in the future. And with that, that brings about 4 different potential revenue streams for me. More if you include what I could do with each one in terms of like how to create revenue off of each one. And that's diversification of businesses, of revenue. And if one were to go down one week, one could stay up, or one could go up, or one could stay level. And they're just different ways of providing security for yourself, which is all that diversification does. So instead of getting, a normal job, I don't know why I would ever do that. I'm never going to do that again. But instead of entering the corporate world, I could just continue on down this journey, and I could just go back to the things that I already know, have already done, and already enjoyed. And I just don't see a reason not to do so, other than spreading myself too thin. But I wouldn't be doing it all in the hours that I need to, because my main focus will always be freight brokerage. And then beyond that, becoming a personality or whatever, it's not the most important thing to me. It's not even really something that matters too much. I just think that I have a lot to share because I'm already on the journey and I've already done the journey and I'm still doing the journey. So I think that for the next generation, for the next person who wants to start their own company, I want to show them what it looks like in the small stages, and then I want to show them what it looks like when you graduate to a medium size, and then I want to show you what it looks like when you graduate to a larger size. And in the meantime, while the work is still, smaller or what have you, there's no reason why in the hours when I'm not doing things to then make myself more productive and make something happen in that time. So I don't know if it's split focus or if it's just a better utilization of time and energy. But I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it.